I loved you, Ella. I always will. But I've been hiding in that love for too long. Forgive me, Ella, but I have to move on. I have to let you go.
Oscar remained rooted in place, staring at the empty doorway. The silence in the house felt oppressive now, a stark contrast to the noise and life Olivia had brought into it. He sank onto the edge of the bed, his head in his hands. How had it come to this? How had he let her slip away? For so long, he'd clung to his grief, using it as a shield to keep everyone at bay. But now, with Olivia gone, he realized the cost of that shield. He hadn't just lost a wife years ago. He'd lost the chance to rebuild, to truly live again. And now, he had lost Olivia too. Hours later, the bustling streets of Lagos blurred around him as he gripped the steering wheel, his mind racing. He'd spent hours calling her phone, only to hear it ring unanswered. He couldn't let it end like this. He wouldn't. Olivia's face haunted him, the pain in her eyes, the tremor in her voice. She had given him everything and he had pushed her away. He didn't know if it was too late, but he had to try. The car sped forward, cutting through the chaotic traffic, his determination unwavering. This time, he would fight. For her, for them, for the future he had almost let slip through his fingers. Every corner he turned, Oscar wondered if he was getting closer. Was Olivia waiting somewhere, hoping he'd find her? Or had she already decided she was done with him? The uncertainty gnawed at him, but he knew one thing with absolute clarity. I care about her, he admitted to himself, his heart racing faster than his car's engine. And I'll do whatever it takes to bring her back. After what felt like an eternity, Oscar pulled up to a modest apartment complex on the outskirts of the city. He parked hastily, striding toward the entrance with a mix of desperation and determination. He knocked on the door he believed belonged to Olivia's friend, his knuckles striking the wood with urgency. A muffled voice came from inside. "Who is it?" "It's Oscar. I'm looking for Olivia. Please, I just need to talk to her." The door opened slightly, and Amaka, one of Olivia's close friends, peeked out. Her eyes widened briefly in surprise before narrowing in quiet disapproval. After a moment, she stepped aside to let him in. "She's not here," Amaka said bluntly, watching him with crossed arms. Oscar frowned. "Do you know where she is? Please, Amaka, I need to talk to her." Amaka sighed, her gaze softening slightly. "She didn't tell me where she was going, just that she needed space. Oscar, she's hurting. She feels like she's been fighting for a place in your life that doesn't really exist." Oscar swallowed hard, guilt tightening his throat. "I didn't mean for her to feel that way. I've been so caught up in everything. Sophia, Ella's memory, my own grief. I didn't realize how much I was taking her for granted." Amaka studied him for a long moment before speaking. "If you really care about her, Oscar, you have to show her, not just with words, but with actions. She's not the type to wait around forever." Oscar nodded, determination hardening his expression. "Thank you, Amaka. I won't stop until I find her." After Amaka's warning, Oscar spent days looking, checking Olivia's former workplace, calling mutual friends, even driving past places she once mentioned. Each dead end made the reality sink deeper. He might have lost her for good. The cemetery was quiet, save for the distant rustle of leaves in the evening breeze. The sky above was painted with streaks of fading orange, the last light of day bowing out to dusk. Oscar stopped in front of the marble headstone with the inscription, "Ella Okoro." He exhaled shakily, his throat tight. "I don't even know if I should be here saying this, but I need to." It had been almost 3 years since his last visit. He'd stayed away, unable to face the reality of her death. The weight of it always left him hollow. But tonight was different. He just needed to talk to Ella, even if she couldn't answer. He ran a hand down his face, then looked back at the stone, his eyes burning. "I loved you. I will always love you. No one could ever take that away from me. Not time, not distance, not even death. You are my first home, my heart, my partner. His voice faltered. But I've been hiding in that love, using it like an armor. And in the process, I've destroyed someone else that didn't deserve it. Olivia, she didn't ask for this. She didn't ask to be compared to you, to live in your shadow. She gave me her loyalty, her care, her heart, and I repaid her with coldness, with cruelty. I thought keeping her at an arm's length was protecting your memory, but all I've done is dishonor both of you. The words tumbled out raw and heavy. I always love you, Ella, always. But I can't keep clinging to you like this. Not when there's a woman out there who needs me to fight for her the way I once fought for you. I care about her, more than I ever wanted to admit. And if I let her slip away, it won't just be my loss, it will be Sophia's too. He pressed his hand against the cool stone, his voice dropping to a whisper. Forgive me, Ella. Forgive me for moving forward. But for Olivia's sake, for Sophia's sake, I have to try. The breeze stirred again, gentle, almost like a sigh. Oscar closed his eyes, feeling a strange peace settle over him, a fragile release he hadn't felt in years. When he rose to his feet, there was resolve in his eyes. He turned from the grave, carrying with him the weight of the past and the determination to fight for the future. At Oscar's house, the night was quiet, save for the faint hum of the generator outside. Sophia sat cross-legged on her bed, hugging her teddy bear. She looked smaller than her 12 years, her eyes shadowed by guilt. Oscar stood in the doorway for a long moment, watching her. Then with a sigh, he stepped inside and sat beside her. Sophia, he said softly. She didn't look up. Is it my fault she left? The question pierced him deeper than any accusation could. No, sunshine, it's not your fault. Her lips trembled. But I shouted at her. I said she wanted to replace mommy. And you told her not to touch mommy's things. She looked so hard, Daddy. What if she never forgives us? Oscar pulled her close, resting his chin on her hair. His voice was heavy, weighed with regret. I failed her, Sophia. I failed you too. I should have listened. I should have protected her. Instead, I pushed her away when she was only trying to care for us. Sophia sniffled, finally meeting his gaze. Do you miss her? He swallowed hard, the truth thick on his tongue. More than I thought I would. When she left, the house felt empty. Not just because she wasn't here, but because she had become part of us. I realized then that I care about her, deeply. I can't pretend anymore that she doesn't matter to me. Sophia's eyes filled again. But what about mommy? You said you always love her. Oscar cupped her small hands in his hands. And I meant it. I will always love your mommy. Nothing and no one can erase her place in my heart or in yours. She gave me you, and that's a love I'll carry forever. But loving her doesn't mean I have to live the rest of my life alone. Olivia, she doesn't want to replace your mother. She only wanted to be here for us, and I pushed her away. Sophia leaned into him, whispering, Then go find her, Daddy. Bring her back. Tell her you care. I want her here too. For the first time in weeks, Oscar felt the tiniest flicker of hope. He kissed her forehead, holding her tighter. I'll find her, sunshine, and this time, I won't let her go. The smell of fried plantain and simmering stew drifted through the air. The roadside was alive with the usual Lagos chaos, okadas weaving in and out of traffic, buses honking impatiently, but right in the middle of it all stood a freshly painted shop with bold red letters above the doorway, Olivia's Kitchen.
It wasn't much, just a modest rented space with cream-colored walls, a ceiling fan, and plastic chairs arranged around small tables. The counter was neatly lined with stainless steel pots, a gas cooker, and the little glass display case where steaming jollof rice, fried fish, and pepper soup waited for hungry customers. Olivia stood behind the counter, a simple apron tied around her waist, her hair pulled back in a bun. Sweat clung to her forehead, but her smile was steady as she handed a steaming plate of rice and chicken to a waiting customer. When she first withdrew what was left of the money Oscar had deposited for her upkeep, people whispered. Some neighbors mocked quietly.
From Lekki Mansion to frying plantain by the roadside.
But Olivia ignored them. For the first time in years, she felt free. Every plastic chair she bought, every spoon and pot she arranged was a brick in the foundation of a new life. By noon, the shop was buzzing. Taxi drivers stopped for quick plates of beans and plantain. Office workers slipped in for takeaway packs of jollof rice,
And school children bought buns or meat pie for snacks.
the sound of laughter, clinking plates, and conversations filled the little space. Madam Olivia, abeg, one more plate of jollof rice with extra pepper, one of the drivers called out. Coming! Olivia answered, her hands moving quickly, her spirit lighter than it had been in years. When the rush slowed, she stood at the entrance of the shop, wiping her hands on her apron, watching the crowd of satisfied customers eat. Her heart swelled with something she hadn't felt in a long time: pride. This wasn't Oscar's house. This wasn't Ella's shadow. This was hers, her work, her sweat, her name on the wall. She whispered under her breath, almost like a vow. From here, I'll build my life back, piece by piece. No one would take this from me. And as the Lagos sun dipped lower, casting golden light on her modest little shop, Olivia's kitchen stood like a promise of resilience, of survival, of a woman who had finally chosen herself. Late afternoon, Oscar's black SUV crawled through the usual Lagos traffic, his hand drumming impatiently on the steering wheel. He had been restless for weeks, calling her number endlessly, asking Amaka and others if they had seen her. Nothing, no trace. As his car approached a bustling junction, his eyes caught a flash of teal paint and bold red letters across a small rented shop. Olivia's kitchen. He froze. No, it couldn't be. Olivia was a common name. Surely it was just a coincidence. But his gut twisted, refusing to let him drive past. He slowed the car, parked hastily, and stepped out. Inside, the air was thick with the aroma of fried plantain, stewing beans, and smoky jollof rice. Plastic chairs were filled with customers, drivers, office workers, young women on lunch break. The hum of chatter wrapped around him, punctuated by the clatter of spoons against plates. And then he saw her, behind the counter, apron tied snugly at her waist, a sheen of sweat across her brow. Olivia moved with quiet command. She laughed lightly as she handed a steaming plate of rice to a customer, her voice carrying both authority and warmth. She looked different, stronger, lighter, as though she had shed the weight of him the moment she walked away. For a moment, Oscar just stood there drinking in the sight of her. "Olivia," he said, his voice low but urgent as he approached the counter. She didn't look up. "One plate of beans and plantain," a customer called out. "Yes, coming," she answered swiftly, scooping food with swift precision, not missing a beat. "Olivia," Oscar tried again, firmer this time. "Closer now." She didn't flinch, didn't pause. To her, he was invisible, just background noise to the real business at hand. "Oga," a man in the line muttered with irritation, "if you know they buy food, abeg comot, you dey block us." Laughter rippled across the customers. A few glanced at Oscar with curiosity, some with mocking smiles. Heat crept up his neck. For years, women had angled for his attention. Now here he was, reduced to begging for a glance from the one woman he had dismissed, while strangers chuckled at his expense. "Olivia, please," he whispered, almost broken. She didn't answer, didn't look up. Oscar's throat tightened. He stepped back slowly, his chest heavy, each breath burning. After a long pause, he turned and walked out. Back in his SUV, he sat frozen, staring through the windshield at the little shop where she moved with ease and confidence, surrounded by laughter and clinking plates. For the first time in a long while, Oscar realized he was the one on the outside now.
Mrs. Toke Williams, a very popular Lagos socialite, scrolled furiously through her phone as she paced her Lekki living room. Her birthday celebration was the talk of the town, the event of the season, and she had already boasted about the top-tier caterer she booked months ago. But now, 5 days to the grand day, disaster struck. "Madam, I am so sorry," the caterer's voice crackled over the phone. "I won't be able to handle your event again. There's been an emergency abroad. I have to travel." "Travel?" Toke exploded, her long acrylic nails tapping the marble counter. "Do you know how many A-list guests I have invited? Do you know people are flying in for this? And you're telling me this now?" "I really apologize, ma," the woman stammered, "but I can recommend some other caterers." Toke ended the call before the excuses could continue. She sank onto her velvet sofa, fuming. "This is a disaster," she muttered. "How will I explain to society people that my food was a flop? Lagos will laugh me to shame." 20 minutes later, her phone buzzed again. It was her friend Fumi. "Hello," she answered unhappily. "Why do you sound like this?" Toke groaned. "That useless caterer just cancelled. 5 days to go? Where will I find another caterer that can match my event standard?" Fumi hesitated, then said, "I heard about someone, small roadside woman, but people swear her food is heavenly. Her name is Olivia, I think. Olivia's Kitchen." Toke burst out laughing. "Roadside? Fumi, abeg, don't insult me. My guests are governors, CEOs, influencers. Do you want them to be eating from cooler with nylon and plastic spoons?" "No," Fumi chuckled. "I'm serious. People line up for her food. Even bankers from nearby offices leave their AC canteens just to eat at her place. She may not have packaging, but her cooking is something else." Toke rolled her eyes. "This is not buka food, oh. This is the event of Lagos. How will I stand there and say my caterer is one unknown roadside cook? Do you want Bella Naija to mock me?" Fumi's voice grew firm. "Toke, you don't have time. All the big names are fully booked. Either you cancel the food part of your event, which will be a bigger disgrace, or you swallow your pride and call this woman. Trust me, you'll thank me later." Toke fell silent, chewing her lip. The thought of entrusting her high-class birthday party to a nobody bruised her ego, but she had no choice. The countdown was ticking. With a heavy sigh, she said, "Fine, send me her number. But if she ruins my event for me, I will call you out on social media." "Don't worry, it won't get to that." She hung up, her manicured fingers drumming the armrest. "Olivia's Kitchen," she murmured, distaste lacing her tone. "Let's see if this so-called miracle woman can survive in my world." Olivia was scrubbing down the counter at Olivia's Kitchen when her phone rang. The number was not familiar. She hesitated, then picked up. "Hello? Am I speaking with Olivia? From Olivia's Kitchen?" "Yes, ma. This is Olivia." "This is Mrs. Toke Williams. Fumi Olatunji gave me your number. She said you cook well. I have a party in 5 days. My caterer just cancelled on me and I need someone else." Olivia blinked, stunned. "Ma, how many guests?" 400. Her chest tightened. 400? She had never served more than 50 in one day. But before she could stammer out an excuse, Toke added impatiently, "Are you available or not? I don't have time to beg anyone." Her mouth went dry.
Everything in her wanted to say no. Yet another part of her whispered, "This is the kind of chance you've been praying for. Don't run." "Yes, ma," she heard herself say. "I can do it." "Good," Toke said briskly. "Send me your price. And don't waste my time." That night, Olivia sat at her small dining table, staring at her notepad. She listed everything she would need to stand before Lagos elites without shame. Multiple dishes, rice varieties, soups, grilled meats, finger foods. New and elegant-looking serving plates and spoons, industrial-sized pots for bulk cooking, matching aprons for staff, rental stands and serving tables, paid servers. She calculated the cost again and again, her hand trembling. Finally, she exhaled and made the call. "Madam Williams." "Yes, I've calculated the cost for 400 guests. To provide different quality dishes, plus the proper serving equipment, plates, spoons, pots, aprons, hired servers and presentation stands, the total will be 3 million naira. There was silence. Then a sharp laugh. 3 million for a roadside cook without a brand? Do you know who you are talking to? Olivia's heart pounded, but her voice was steady. "With respect, ma, this is not just food. Your guests are dignitaries. They will expect polished food. Without those items, it will not look the part. That is why the amount stands at 3 million naira. And for me to prepare properly, I will need 70% upfront." 70%? Toke snapped. "Do you think I dash out millions like peanuts?" Olivia closed her eyes, whispering a prayer in her heart. Then she said firmly, "If I am to deliver the quality you want, I cannot do it halfway. If you're not comfortable, madam, I completely understand." Her quiet certainty carried weight. Toke paused on the line. Something about the woman's tone didn't sound like desperation. It sounded like conviction. Finally, Toke hissed. "Send your account details. If you fail me, Olivia, your name will be ruined in Lagos society before it even starts." "Yes, ma," Olivia said, her voice calm, though her hands were shaking. "I won't fail." When the 2.1 million naira alert landed in her phone that night, Olivia pressed the phone to her chest. Tears slipped down her cheeks. This wasn't just business anymore. It was her chance to prove she was more than what people had reduced her to. She whispered into the silence of her tiny room, "God, let me not fail."